Good evening. We are coming to you live from Altadena tonight with the latest on these horrible wildfires that we've been seeing. A very eerie scene out here in Altadena. The only sounds that we hear are the helicopters circling above and the sound of crows. It is an absolute ghost town out here. Roadblocks are down the mountain, keeping everybody from coming up. There have been concerns over looting. And again, the toll, the staggering loss that we've seen is so difficult to wrap your head around. But just to put it in perspective, 7,000 structures here in the Altadena fire alone. Let me just show you this for perspective. You've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 homes just right here on this stretch along this street, this cul-de-sac in Altadena. 7 homes, and then imagine 7,000 structures. And in so many of these homes, the only thing that's standing in these neighborhoods are things like this. You've got a fireplace over here. The chimneys are all around the distance. It's almost like this landscape of chimneys and entryways and the things that are made out of brick. Everything else has been reduced to rubble. And then you start to think about all the memories, all the family memories and the moments that happened inside of those living rooms around those fireplaces. We've been talking to so many people here, and they have been describing these homes not just as their dream homes, but they're forever homes of their family and their parents, too. Many of these homes have been passed down generation to generation. It is absolutely heartbreaking to see. And again, we now know 11 people have been killed in the 2 different fires. We know 180,000 people have been evacuated between the 2. 5 people died in the Palisades fire. 6 people died here at the Eaton fire. More than 12,300 structures destroyed so far, and those are preliminary numbers. Again, about 7,000 here in Eaton. I don't think they're done counting the homes and the buildings that have been destroyed out there in the Palisades. That fire, 20,000 acres burned, only 8% contained. They are still issuing evacuation warnings out there for surrounding communities. The Eaton fire here, it's 13,000 acres burned, 3% containment. It's still burning up in the hills, threatening Mount Wilson. The Kenneth fire, a little ways away, 1,000 acres burned, 35% containment. And right now, we are getting reports of a new fire that has started in the West Hills of Los Angeles. That would be Woodland Hills, Encino, that whole area now in the same situation that so many Angelenos have been in over the last few nights, wondering if they are going to have to grab everything, throw it in their cars, and evacuate. Fire crews are bracing for a weekend return of Santa Ana winds. We're going to start off tonight with Tom Yamas and an overview of all the fires we're seeing here in Southern California.
The firefight in California now in day 4. Today we saw firsthand how homeowners continue to face the wildfires head on.
Topanga's there. If we burn, Topanga burns. We need to stop this.
Using water hoses, shovels, and sprinklers, these residents have been fighting for days.
You're sweating, you're covered in water and dirt. Why are you doing this?
Because there's a whole community behind us, and if we go, they go.
With firefighters on the ground and the wind slowing down, air assets attack the blaze from above.
We're in the middle of the Palisades firefight right now. That is a Firehawk. It's a Black Hawk helicopter that has up to 1,000 gallons of water, dropping it right on some of the hottest spots of this wildfire.
The accuracy of those airdrops was unbelievable.
Even Carmen Harmon, who is 6 months pregnant, spraying down her home with water. She's expecting a boy and says she's trying to ensure her baby has a place to come home to.
We're ready to go if we need to. We have routes out, but yeah, we want to try and stay in fight.
And the threat isn't over. Today, new evacuations ordered as a fire broke out in Granada Hills. And last night, another new fire near Calabasas. A furious effort held back these flames. But with each new outbreak, already thin resources are being stretched even further. Today, there's one less firefighting plane in the air after a super scooper was struck by what the FBI is investigating as a civilian drone strike. The damage left a fist-sized hole in its wing, grounding the vital aircraft designed to drop 1,500 gallons of water on fire. The fires have now burned more than 56 square miles. That's larger than the city of San Francisco. More than 12,000 structures damaged or destroyed. These stunning before and after images of the Eaton fire in Altadena showing what the fire did to a vibrant community. According to the Los Angeles County Medical Examiner, the fires have now killed 11 people, including 83-year-old grandfather Rodney Nickerson of Altadena. And the number of dead is still expected to rise.
There's still a lot of people are unaccounted for. We don't know where they are. I think this toll is likely to go up, whether it's significant or not. Pray God it's not.
Hajime White lost her father, Anthony Mitchell, and younger brother Justin, who had cerebral palsy. In the Pacific Palisades, actress Jennifer Gardner's home was spared, but she's dealing with the loss of her own.
I'm pointing to a street where a friend of mine lived, and she died in the fire right up there. So coming down here and seeing it, it's very real.
Amid miles of destruction, the National Guard now standing outside fire zones to prevent looting. Today, Governor Gavin Newsom called for an independent investigation into the loss of water pressure in fire hydrants. This as outrage is growing and questions remain about what impact LA's mayor Karen Bass's budget cut to the city's fire department had on the response. Our local station, NBC Los Angeles, pressing the city's fire chief for answers.
So $17 million cut did not allow us to do what we needed to do. And where that impacted us specifically for Palisades was our ability to move into reserve apparatus.
So that apparatus could not be utilized in this fire?
We were limited with the number of resources that we could add and pre-deploy to this fire, yes.
Searching for answers as to what went wrong, as so many now search for a new place to call home.
There's helplessness, there is the search for answers, and then there is also resilience that you see here among the rubble. Here in Altadena, we spent a lot of time walking around, talking to people that were coming back, sifting through the rubble, and many of them are vowing to rebuild. Take a look.
Today in Altadena, there are doorways, stairways, entryways into emptiness, and storefronts, portals, and windows into ruin. From above, the loss is staggering. Over 7,000 structures, homes, and businesses lost in Altadena. And for Kim Hood, the greenhouse facing the mountain wasn't just her dream home, it was what her parents passed down to her before they died.
What was your reaction when you first saw it?
Tears. My husband's like, okay, I thought you already cried out. I'm like, apparently not.
She shows us pictures of her family gathering around her fireplace for Christmas, one of the only remnants left standing.
Unbelievable.
Up the way, Juan Perez puts the scope of destruction into heartbreaking perspective.
It's all gone. All gone. I mean, the kids were born here, raised them here, 20-some years. Built this and it's completely gone. Not just me, it's my whole neighborhood is gone. There's thousands of us that don't know what we're gonna do, don't know where we're gonna go.
There's nothing left, and I've been here for about an hour and a half, and I don't want to leave. It's home.
Everything that we know and love is gone. Not just this house, my whole city gone, man. The whole thing, like everything, my whole neighborhood, everything that I grew up to love and know is burnt up.
But in this working-class community that feels more like a small town than a part of L.A., there's already talk of rebuilding where their roots are generations deep.
Sometimes you get knocked down, but we're just not going to be knocked out. You know, you fall down and we get right back up.
And when the rebuilding begins, the Altadena hardware store will be ground zero for reconstruction.
Jesus. Even if you've got building supplies in the parking lot.
On the street, wherever we can put stuff to help people, we're going to put it. Yeah, we're going to do everything we can.
And Jimmy, I mean, he personifies the resilience that we have seen here in Altadena. He said that on the night that the fire swept through, he was out of town. He tried to rush in, but his home was saved by one of his neighbors that hosed his house down. And as soon as he got in, those two got to work saving another neighbor's house. That's why they weren't able to go check on the shop there that burned down. And then right before that interview, he said that he had to go to another house that was seeing a hotspot flare up. They had just put it out with a bunch of buckets of water. That type of resilience is what everybody here is looking for. And again, his hardware shop is completely gone. He is talking about bringing in massive amounts of material and just putting it right there on the street. Let's bring in our friend Ellison Barber, who's out in Altadena right now. She's actually, I believe, right across the street from that hardware store. And you've got destruction behind you. You've got destruction in front of you, all around you here. And I think one of the things that people don't realize is even that destruction that you have behind you, like, you can see a fire station from there, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can, and you're right. We're exactly across from where you were. And part of why we're here, Gadi, and we'll just kind of walk and talk a little and look over here, is because there are this just continuous flow of these little hot spots where there are still pockets here where they haven't been able to get all of the fire out. And we've been staying in this position because, as you said, there is a fire station that's not far from here. And what we've seen particularly in the last hour and a half is crews, and some of them from different neighborhoods, not necessarily this station, but coming down to this area to put out these little hot spots. This crew over here, they've been in this pocket for about the last hour or so. Earlier, there was a crew further down directly across from that hardware station. They were there about an hour and a half ago, got some of those little hot spots, the still smoldering areas out. Then this crew has come in, and they've just been working nonstop trying to deal with little spots inside this building that are still on fire. And if we do just like a complete 180 here, Gadi, and this might look a little crazy, but just roll with us, you'll see all the way down here, again, the same deal. All of these crews, these pockets, you see the smoke there, they're putting out more hot spots because there are so many areas in here that have been smoldering just throughout the day. And this is the work that is still going on, and it's really bit by bit and block by block. One thing that has happened today in this area that we've seen a lot of is the National Guard coming in and taking over some of the checkpoints that were previously being operated and run by the California Highway Patrol. They're still there, but the National Guard is there. They've been deployed. 600 of them have been activated by Governor Gavin Newsom, in part because they say they're trying to keep people out of this area for safety reasons, as well as concerns about looting. And it seems like since all of that has happened, this area, and a lot of people have been incredibly frustrated that they haven't been able to get up here. But I got to tell you, in the last few hours, I mean, this sort of work like this, Gadi, it's been nonstop of these crews just really coming into this area and hitting all of these spots. So while a lot of people are understandably frustrated that they can't get into their homes, this right here, this is like the constant thing that we're seeing, is people are actively going through these hotspots, firefighters working diligently, trying to get all of this stuff under control. We have also seen electrical crews coming in, trying to get live wires up off of the ground in this area so that it is safe enough for maybe people to come back in soon. We saw a lot of people today encountering National Guard, and some of them being really frustrated that they can't get up to their friends' home or to their own homes. But this is part of the reason why in this area, at least that's what local fire officials are saying, is they're saying, yes, Gavin Newsom deployed them and activated them primarily because of concerns about looting. But in this area also, they're saying the mandatory evacuation areas where we're still not letting people in near the Eaton fire in Altadena, they say it's mostly because of this, because there's still so many active little things going on in the area. And big picture, and Gadi, you've been reporting on this all day, and I know you've already said it in this last hour, but the Eaton fire is still, based on the numbers we have, only about 3% contained. So there's a lot of work to do, and it's just constant in this downtown area. And we really are exactly where that hardware store is, and so much has changed here in just the last 3 hours of little hot spots popping up again, but this massive influx of crews really coming down this sort of main stretch and diligently working, trying to get all of these pockets that still remain in this area out so that hopefully soon people can start coming in and assessing the damage to their town and to their homes. Gadi.
And Ellison, I mean, where you are right now, people from Altadena, people from Pasadena, they're going to look at this, they're going to be, no, that cannot be like the main strip. That cannot be, I believe it's Lake Street, right? That's where all the mom and pop shops are. That's where, you know, it goes straight up into the mountains. That is the main drag. It's like the heart of the community. And many people are going to see that, and they are not going to recognize a street that they drove on day in and day out. In terms of the facades, the ones that are still standing, does that mean that there's still a building there, or are they shells of themselves?
I mean, not always. I mean, some of them, it really is hard to explain. And Gadi, I've spent a lot of time in conflict zones, and I got to tell you, a lot of this street, Lake Avenue in particular, when we were driving down it, I looked at our producer, Jean Chu, and I said, this really does remind me of Ukraine. I know state officials have talked about this area as looking like a war zone. And that's also what I would describe it as. A lot of these buildings, it's like there's bits of the facade still standing, and then inside, it just looks like somebody dropped an explosive device. But that's not what happened here. It's the fires, and that continues the further down you go this way. I mean, even just over here on the left, there's this easy stop that's a food store, I presume. I mean, all of it inside, like some of the exterior you can see is still standing, but inside, everything is charred to a crisp and just absolutely destroyed. There are still some buildings across the street that look like they're okay. But then again, you go further down and it's like the one or two that seem okay, seem like they were anomalies. And then those embers, the sparks that sort of get carried up or down with the winds, they just kept on going. And this is, you get the sense when a lot of people in this community we've spoken to today, one man who lived here, he kept saying he was here when the fire broke out on Tuesday. He spent 5 hours with a garden hose trying to just wet down his home and neighbors. And he kept saying, it's so crazy how much this fire jumped. And when you walk down Lake Avenue, I think you get a sense of that because you see these buildings still smoldering. And then you have something like this one on the corner that is still standing. But then again, you go next to it and that one's entirely down as well before you get next to that mini K market that's in this area. Gadi?
Yeah. It's the businesses, it's the homes behind us. I mean, just imagining a bomb blowing up in one building is a tragedy. Here, 7,000 structures that look like what you just showed us. Ellison Barber, thank you so much for your reporting, and your perspective is so invaluable in a time like this. Thank you. And joining us now is Jin Huang Lee Trevlon and her son Samuel. They are among some of those that have lost their homes here in Altadena. Jin Huang, you, your husband, your two kids, they've lived there all together over the decade. I am so sorry as we look at that image of the before and the after. Can you take us through your evacuation experience?
Yes, thank you, Gadi, for having us. On Tuesday, January 7th, my friend Myra called me. She's married to a firefighter, and she said, Jinghua, I need you to download this app called Watch Duty. You're living really close to the Eaton Canyon and to the Eaton fire, and people are already evacuating. That was around 6:30 p.m., and I had no idea there was a fire. And we took our work seriously. However, we did take time eating dinner, and we packed some documents. After dinner, we packed one night's worth of clothes, and we evacuated after dinner. And we thought we're just going to go one night away, stay with our friend Lehman, and then come back the next day. But we had no idea how quickly this fire was going to spread and how devastating it was going to be.
Wow, so devastating. And Samuel, from what I understand, you're the only one that's been able to make it back and see it with your own eyes. What did you see?
I mean, as soon as you got into Altadena, because we were evacuated in Tahunga, and, I got off the freeway, and as soon as you go into Altadena, it goes from kind of grayish to completely black. It was like 8 a.m. in the morning when I first went there, and it felt like midnight by the time I was in Altadena. I could only recognize the streets by looking at the street signs because a lot of the buildings and the blocks were completely destroyed. And, I turned onto the street of my house, and I mean, every house looked the same. I could see for blocks down because, there's no houses blocking. We were all in shock of just, like there's just nothing, So that was very surprising to see.
And the landscape is so different. I mean, we're out here in Altadena again. Like, you should not be able to see the city of Los Angeles, and you can see all the way to the city. Like, the trees are gone. Things have just been leveled here. It's so unrecognizable. I understand a lot of people here have been very stressed about insurance. What's going to happen with insurance? Is your insurance going to cover this? Do you have insurance? What's been your situation?
So we do have homeowners insurance, but like many California residents, we don't have fire insurance specifically. and right now we're in an uncertain place.
So you have homeowners insurance, but you don't have fire insurance, and so you don't know whether you're covered.
We have some covered, but very likely not all of it covered. We have insurance for loss of use, which covers hotel stay, temporary stay, and then we have content coverage, which covers things that were destroyed in the fire.
And have you been able to think to what happens next? Are you planning on rebuilding?
We're not sure yet. We definitely want to have a place to stay, a semi-permanent place to stay. We're not sure if we're going to rebuild because it's going to take a long time. And, we have 2 kids. Sam is about to go off to college. Our younger one is 9 years old. We'd rather be in a place that we can get back to our routine as quickly as possible. Rebuilding does take time, and it feels a little bit overwhelming and daunting to think about rebuilding at this moment.
Yeah, and it's not just a routine. I mean, you are such a huge part of this community. I understand your husband started a literary festival there. I know you've got your running club that you started. What's the community like in this difficult time?
Yeah. So my husband was the one that bought this house over 15 years ago. He was drawn to Altadena because it's such an eclectic artistic community. It's very, very diverse. And the community here is extremely tight-knit and very, very supportive of each other. I run with this group called Alta Runs. We started simultaneously during the pandemic. A lot of us come from Pasadena Pacers. During the pandemic, we started just running more in Altadena. The group would meet every Tuesday and Thursday on Altadena Drive in Allen, and we'll just run around in the streets of Altadena. And it's just really sad to see so many of the places that we run along the street, like the hardware store. That's where I meet the group. Mm-hmm. And so many of the buildings. At the hardware store. Yeah. All destroyed is unrecognizable.
Unrecognizable, and we're hoping that there is a sense of normalcy restored to this place. There is a serenity to this place, even though it seems haunted right now, and really hope it's restored to its former beauty. Jinhwan, Samuel, thank you guys so much for joining us, and our prayers are with you tonight.
Thank you for having us.
And joining us now is Daryl Osby, a former Los Angeles County Fire Chief. Thank you so much for being with us. I have so many questions for you, coming from the conversations that we've been having with the people out here. But things are calming down a little bit weather-wise. Officials say that red flag conditions are going to be back on Monday. What are crews going to be doing this weekend to get ready?
Yeah, first, before I get started, it's just numbing to listen to your program, and my heart goes out to those citizens that lost their lives or their property. I did this for 40 years, and it's just bringing back haunting memories. But to answer your question specifically, over the next several days, there's probably thousands of miles of open line. You see that these fires have 0 to very low percentages of containment. So it's going to really take boots in the ground to go out and cut containment line, which is basically separating the burn from the unburned. So what's going to occur over the next several days when the winds shift, you're going to find the fires blowing in different directions because there's no containment. But they're going to be working 24/7 to try to get as much containment as possible, because it's projected that probably Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to have another Santa Ana wind event. So that's very concerning.
And do you have any tips for people that might be in wildfire-prone area? Actually, not even wildfire-prone areas, like anywhere in Los Angeles. We're all getting these alerts, evacuation order here, evacuation order there. What do you do other than pack your bags and evacuate immediately?
It's important for our citizens to be prepared. So if there's an opportunity now to ensure that their house is hardened, and what I mean by that is to have flammable vegetation, wood, whatever, removed, because sometimes there's not enough firefighters to be at every home. So homes are going to have to survive freestanding. A lot of homes are lost by embers or ember cast through the wind. So if a person can harden their home right now, that would be advantageous to take wood down, debris down, dead vegetation down, then also be acutely aware when there's an incident, not to wait for first responders to say evacuate. It's important to get out early.
And Daryl, I do have a question that I've been struggling with a little bit. We keep talking to a lot of people that were able to, at least they say that they were able to save their homes because they were there with the water hoses and they did not evacuate. And yet, just down the street here at the Eaton fire, we saw a man who died, who perished with a garden hose in his hand trying to defend his home. It seems like the cost of staying to defend your home is, you know, the ultimate price for some people. And yet, it's mixed signals. You see the stories of homes being saved, and then you see the stories of lives being lost. If somebody decides to stay, what is the calculated risk that's going on there? And are there times when, you know, maybe one or two people should stay until the last possible moment?
These fires are very dynamic. So sometimes you can have a fire in a community, and for example, we've had several fires in Altadena over the course of my career, and we didn't get this level of destruction. But then you have this incident in 2025, widespread, catastrophic, unprecedented act of God through Mother Nature, where we've had this level of destruction. This is a very dynamic conversation to have. I can just tell you, 2008, 2009 in the fire service, we were having conversations about mimicking what Australia does. They used to have a program entitled Leave Early or Stay and Defend, like you saw some of these citizens staying in to defend their homes. But then unfortunately, and I forget the year, but you can look it up, either in 2008, 2009, what they call in Australia is Black Sunday. Almost 300 people died trying to defend their homes. So then that's why in Southern California, which has now been adopted in our country, we've adopted the program Ready, Set, Go. And so we really want people to go when we say evacuate. But it's a judgment call, but it's very perplexing. But our objective is always to save lives first. So we want people to go and evacuate.
Yeah, a calculation that makes a lot of sense when you look at all this destruction. Daryl Osby, thank you so much for being with us, and thank you for everything you've done for the communities.
Right, thank you for having me.
Sure. Morgan Chesky has been on the ground all week out here along the fire lines. He joins us now. Morgan, you're over at the Benjamin Franklin Elementary School just down the way here in Altadena. What have you been seeing out there today?
Gadi, a lot of heartbreaking scenes, and unfortunately that's the norm here in this area as a result of the Eaton fire. Hard to believe just until a few days ago this school stood and had been for decades. Now it has succumbed to the fire, just like thousands of other buildings in this area. What's been interesting to see, Gadi, as I know you have as well, has been kind of the evolution of the firefight and of this tragic process day by day. At this point, firefighters believe that they've at least somewhat prohibited the fronts from growing on this Eaton fire, but they have been on patrol all day long in this area, trying to prevent those flare-ups, trying to catch those ember-cast fires from taking down more buildings. And we witnessed ourselves a electrical fire begin on power lines nearby, a striking scene, Gadi, to have been told that lines had been shut down for safety's sake, and then hear a pop and see the lines erupt in flames. Crews responded by closing down that street, Gadi, but they were very hesitant to spray water on it because they were told the lines were dead, but then they see the fire begin, and so they very carefully extinguished it. A credit to the power crews. They were out here replacing that line within about an hour's time, but it just goes to show that even though the winds have died down somewhat, nobody is out of the woods as of right now because this is still an active firefight to some degree here.
Yeah, and it just goes to show how dangerous the situation is, even when it looks like everything is under control. There are down power lines all throughout this area. That is some terrifying footage there. One of the things that I started to see today, didn't see them over the last few days, is water trucks, like private water trucks following engines and following some of the fire crews. And I don't know if they were using some of that to refill the engines to spray or if they were just backup. But have you seen any updates on the water issues that you've been covering? And have they started to change tactics at all?
We have seen some progress, Gadi. We know that the governor dispatched at least several hundred water tenders, those water tankers, to assist in the ongoing firefight. When we embedded with that crew in the Pacific Palisades fire yesterday, when the hydrant ran dry, they had to wait for a tanker to show up and then kind of run a relay from the tanker to the truck, from the truck to the fire. But that did take precious minutes as we watched a home burn. I should point out here, Gadi, that when it comes to the water situation, a fire captain said it best. He said, we feel like when we're limited to our single truck, when we can't find water anywhere else, we're fighting fires 500 gallons at a time. Now, someone may hear that and think 500 gallons, you know, on one of those trucks, that can do a lot of damage to a fire. Gadi, the nozzles that they have attached to the hose are capable of emptying that 500-gallon reservoir in less than 60 seconds. So when they know that that's all they have to essentially limit it as much as possible. And that's why we're not seeing a lot of the offensive maneuvers by firefighters on some of these fires, more defensive, just to make sure that it doesn't spread to nearby structures. And I think that's what's heartbreaking for us to witness and for firefighters themselves to some degree. They promise to do the best they can with what they have. And unfortunately, in too many instances over the last several days, they've had to make do with not much. Gadi?
Yeah, I'll never forget the sound of, you know, firefighters yelling, conserve, conserve, in the middle of a sea of fire all around us. It was, you know, what you just said puts that into perspective. Morgan Chesky, thank you so much for your reporting all week. Thanks so much. And with more than 150,000 people under evacuation orders, a lot of people just grabbed whatever they could. But in that chaos, sometimes pets, sometimes dogs, cats, the parts of the family might have been lost or left behind. And NBC's Liz Kreutz shows us the lengths that people are going to in order to save those animals now. Take a look.
As fires ignited across LA, forcing thousands from their homes, horses, donkeys, and even a giant pig, all among those also needing to get out.
Yeah, it's time to leave.
This woman evacuated her 175-pound tortoise, Tiptoe.
This is no good. This is no good.
How do I get to my house? In the Palisades, a first responder reuniting this man with his beloved dog.
What's her name or his name?
Tika, Tika, Tika. And now at the Pasadena Humane Society, an overwhelming outpour. Donations of blankets, food, air filters, so many in the community jumping in to help.
The shelter has taken in more than 400 animals over the past 2 days. Some of them dropped off by evacuees looking for a safe place for their pets, others by Good Samaritans who found them wandering amidst the chaos.
So one of the animals that I transferred out is this cat.
Inside, veterinarians tending to so many animals.
At first, I didn't know where they were all going to go. I didn't know if we had the number of hands to take care of them.
This cat covered in soot, even a peacock.
Any animal that's out there, either owned or wild, like we're going to be expecting to see them.
Rachel Meach says she had to come help.
So it's pretty cool to help out and just be a part of this community that loves animals.
A reminder that through the horror, the best of humanity shines through.
People are good. You know, with all the bad stuff that's going on, people are good. And it's great that the community is helping each other.
Liz Kreutz, NBC News, Los Angeles.
Liz Kreutz, thank you so much for that. So good to see those animals still alive. Let's bring in Public Relations and Communications Manager of the Pasadena Humane Society, Kevin McManus, to talk a little bit more about that rescue effort. I mean, it is a heroic rescue effort. And just to hear like the sounds of those barking dogs has to fill you with a little bit of happiness there. Thanks so much for being with us. What can you tell us about how the rescue efforts are going and how the pets are that you've saved?
Well, the rescue efforts are going really well. We have made a lot of progress in that we are now being able to go more into the active disaster areas. We have some strike teams here from agencies that have specialized training. So we're now at the point where we've got a great handle on all of the pets whose families brought them in. But the next step is recovery of those who, for whatever reason, the family couldn't take the animal with them when they were forced to flee, or they had to go in a moment's notice. So we fear the worst is still coming.
The worst is still coming in. I mean, is there a reason to be hopeful? We don't want to give false hope, but what do animals usually do? What do pets usually do when flames are coming at them?
Well, just like us, it's a very stressful situation. A lot of pets will flee or hide. So our goal now is to, coax anything that we can out of hiding and make sure we can get them to safety. So I know if they haven't already, we're having folks put up water and food out, and we're going to try to trap cats in the areas that are affected so we can care for their injuries and get them here safely where we can care for them.
Have you heard any striking stories of survival yet?
You're seeing, I know I had the little bit about with our veterinarians, their efforts to care for the animals that came in, that first round of stray animals where, they came in with burnt pads on their feet, smoke inhalation, really dehydrated. And our vet team literally leapt into action, and, every patient, it's getting just top quality care, and so far they've been very successful in starting to help recover, from those injuries.
Oh my gosh, look at those faces. So many people are coming up, and they're helping their human brother and sisters. But for those that are also wanting to help with some of the rescue efforts that you're involved in, how do they do it?
Well, we are honestly, a financial donation really helps the animals in the quickest and most direct way possible. With the vet care that we're going to need for the animals that are still coming in, as well as to maintain the animals in our care, a donation helps us to direct the resources directly to what we need at the moment. If people want to donate, we have, of course, you can do that through our website, and we're very, very appreciative. I know people locally have been incredibly generous and have mobilized so much of the resources, like crates and blankets and food that we had made a call for, that we at this point now today, we have to shut down everything at dark, basically for traffic reasons. But our donation area has been humming for 2 days straight. And the outpouring of support from our community is it's amazing. It's keeping us who are here at the shelter going, because just that sense of community and that knowing that people know what we're doing and want to support that in whatever way they can.
Yeah, Kevin McManus, thank you so very much for everything that you're doing, and please stay safe out there.
Thank you so much.
Sure. And right there on the left of your screen, or the right of your screen, you're watching the Pacific Palisades. You still see the flames there. It has been days since that fire ripped through, and it is still burning in the ridges tonight as the sun sets over Los Angeles. We're going to take a quick break. Sam Brock is going to be here with the other big headlines from today, including President-elect Trump sentenced in his hush money case. It's coming up, so stay tuned.
And good evening. I'm Sam Brock in New York. In just a moment, we're going to head back out to Gadi and his coverage of those historic wildfires in Southern California. But first, here are some of the other big headlines that we're tracking here tonight. The New Orleans Police Department has released body cam footage with a new lens on the horror of that terror attack New Year's Day. It shows the shootout that took place between 3 officers and the attacker, who rammed his truck into pedestrians on Bourbon Street. Now, this footage, roughly 10 seconds long, there it is. It reveals police asking the man to step out of the white truck. Then we hear gunshots and police, as you see, running away from the vehicle. That is the first time details of the shootout have been released. There are new developments now in the WWE and Vince McMahon saga tonight. The SEC saying that McMahon is going to have to pay more than $1.7 million because he allegedly failed to disclose payments that he made related to sexual assault charges. McMahon settling with the SEC without agreeing or denying those allegations. Rudy Giuliani is found in contempt of court for a second time in the defamation case involving 2 former Georgia election workers. The judge says that he failed to turn over his financial information. Meantime, illegal crossings along the southern border have slowed down significantly. More than 46,000 people crossed the border illegally in November. Yes, that sounds like an enormous number, but it's actually the lowest figure since President Biden took office. And as of now, January, actually on track to be even lower than that. And finally, a strong jobs report out today, adding 256,000 jobs in December, with unemployment rate slowing down to 4.1%. Those numbers are better than what most employment experts projected, and the final ones to come out for the Biden White House. Well, President-elect Trump is set to become the first person to take the Oval Office as a convicted felon. Trump finally sentenced today in that New York hush money case. He appeared remotely for what turned out to be an extraordinary moment, even speaking straight to the judge at one point. NBC's Laura Jarrett has more.
President-elect Trump defiant, appearing in a New York courtroom virtually as Judge Juan Merchan handed down his sentence. Mr. Trump given no punishment, but his place in history tonight cemented. The first former president, now a convicted felon, just 10 days out from his inauguration. The judge acknowledging the extraordinary moment.
Never before has this court been presented with such a unique and remarkable set of circumstances.
Ultimately finding an unconditional discharge the most appropriate sentence for someone about to occupy the highest office, meaning no jail time, probation, fine, or other penalty.
The considerable, indeed, extraordinary legal protections afforded by the office of the chief executive is a factor that overrides all others.
The prosecution in agreement. Mr. Trump earlier, for the first time, speaking directly to the judge, calling it a terrible experience.
It's been a political witch hunt. It was done to damage my reputation so that I'd lose the election, and obviously that didn't work. And the people of our country got to see this firsthand, and then they voted, and I won it.
The jury found him guilty of doctoring business records to cover up a hush money payment to a porn star before the 2016 election. But jail time was always unlikely, given the low-level nature of the crime. Mr. Trump's attorneys vowing to appeal the conviction.
That was Laura Jarrett reporting there from New York. Laura, thank you. All eyes right now also on SCOTUS, as we're now just 9 days away from millions of people potentially losing access to their favorite social media app. Today, TikTok arguing against the planned ban at the Supreme Court. At the center of it is a claim about free speech. NBC News Now anchor Savannah Sellers has the very latest from Washington, D.C.
Hey, Sam. So in short, the justices really did just not seem convinced by TikTok's argument today. They really took issue with this idea that it's a violation of free speech. They asked several questions about that, really from justices on both sides of the aisle, which is pretty telling how many questions there were about this, and it did not fall along party lines whatsoever. They also do really seem sympathetic to the idea that this is a real national security concern, that the fact that TikTok is owned by ByteDance, which has these ties to China, and therefore the lingering questions that leaves about China's ability to manipulate content on the app, manipulate what Americans are seeing, maybe throw in videos that are sympathetic to Chinese causes, or maybe sow dissent here in the United States. On the other hand, the concern is, does China have access to the 170 million Americans' data? And they say it's stored here in the United States, but what's to stop China from being able to interfere, tamper with that data? All questions that were asked of the TikTok lawyers today. For TikTok's part, they really asked a lot of questions about, hey, or they raised the point, I should say, why not do something less restrictive? Why does it have to go all the way to this point? Why not write a law that says, hey, make it officially illegal? TikTok cannot share any data with China. The justices did not seem too compelled by that. So moving forward, we are waiting to hear if the Supreme Court could potentially, essentially, pause the deadline coming up, which is in just 9 days. So in 9 days, what happens? If this law goes into place, it would have to be sold away. TikTok would have to be sold away from that parent company. Well, they've said that's virtually impossible. So let's close that door for now. What would happen otherwise is that then if you don't have TikTok, you can't download it. It's no longer in the App Store. If you do have it, it probably is not going to work very well after a couple months because it'll stop getting updates, which is necessary for all these tech apps. So we, of course, are still waiting on the final ruling from the Supreme Court on the arguments made here today. But in the meantime, we're also wondering if they could issue a pause or they're just going to give us their full decision and opinion prior to that deadline. Sam?
A momentous decision either way. Savannah, thank you so much. Right now, as the fires continue to burn out west, quite a contrast here. Parts of the south are under a blanket of snow. It has wreaked havoc on roads and especially the runways. NBC's Marissa Parra has the latest from Atlanta.
Well, Sam, it is a bitter cold and miserable wintry mix that we're getting right now. The day started out here in Atlanta. We saw the snow coming down that turned into sleet, freezing rain. Then it started to be regular rain. Now we're getting the sleet once again, and it's coming in horizontally. And that is not good news for anyone that's outside, but especially people on the roads, because the big fear is the refreeze. We've already seen the impacts, not just for drivers. We'll get to that in just a moment, but we're here at Atlanta Hartsfield-Jackson Airport because earlier this morning there was a full-on ground stop. That got lifted, but we're still under a ground delay. And the big issue is we've seen delays and cancellations all across the Deep South because, once again, it's not just here in Atlanta we're getting this weather. It's all around these states. Nashville saw 1 inch per hour of snow. So these are states, people, residents who are not used to this kind of winter precipitation, but having to deal with it anyway. But we know there are at least 6 states under state of emergency. States like Alabama, maybe not under a state of emergency, but the majority of counties are under a state of emergency. So a lot of preparations. Roads were salted, 20,000 miles of roads just across Georgia alone. We'll see how that holds up through the night, though, Sam, because the big concern is all of that refreeze overnight, something we're going to keep an eye on for those 75 million people under winter alert as the storm moves northeast. Are that refreeze, power outages, downed power lines, and, of course, downed trees as that ice starts to weigh things down. Sam?
All right, Marissa, thank you. A lot of concerns there in the South. Meantime, countless lives upended in Southern California. Gadi Schwartz joining us now again from where he is in Altadena reporting. And Gadi, you know, among the many indescribable things that you've seen so far, that one interview that we heard a second ago where a man is saying he's on his property and he's been there for 90 minutes and he just doesn't want to leave because he has no home at this point. And you can hear the pain in his voice. I can only imagine these are the sorts of conversations you've been having for days now and just injecting incredible humanity and comfort and context into what you're seeing on the ground. So I'm going to turn over now back to you.
Yeah, they're stuck in this limbo. It's this purgatory of not wanting to leave, but at the same time not wanting to accept the grim reality out here that their homes have been lost. And it's not just their homes, as you heard in some of the interviews. It's an experience that thousands and thousands of people are going through. Sam Brock, thank you for keeping us in the loop on everything else that's going on in the rest of the world. That split screen with the winter weather and then seeing this is hard to wrap your mind around. Now to something that seems a little bit offbeat, and yet it is so important for those that are thinking about the possibility of evacuations this weekend. We've all seen hauls on social media, usually like videos of people sharing clothing or makeup or any kind of recent purchase. This week, there is a new kind of haul that is emerging on social media, and that is the evacuation haul. People sharing the moment that they had to leave their homes and what they chose to bring with them. Watch very closely, especially if you live out here in L.A., because you might want to pay attention to what you should put in your bag. Sam Brock shows us how.
All of this has my important documentation, cash, cards, memories, whatever, insurance, everything.
Tonight, Gen Z taking to TikTok to process a whirlwind of emotions as they flee the out-of-control fires ravaging the West.
I don't know what is even in there. I just grabbed stuff and left.
Creators posting so-called evacuation hauls, sharing what they threw in their bags as they fled their homes.
Clothes, toothbrush, I don't have any of that.
Sammy Brielle moved into her West Hollywood apartment on Tuesday, rushing home from a workout class to pack her valuables when she found out her new home was in a level 2 evacuation zone.
It's just at Pilates and another fire broke out while I was there. It's right over there, so I don't have a car, so I'm running.
She was able to fill one suitcase with valuables, sharing the moment on social media to bring some levity to her own scary situation.
Talking to my phone is like one of those senses of comfort for me because it's like a personal journal and a personal diary. And it just makes me personally feel less alone.
Now I am going in his car, and I hope he is safer than the fire.
I don't have a car here in LA, and I asked my neighbor who I saw was evacuating, could I come with you? And he was like, yeah, sure. And I went with my brand new neighbor that I met yesterday into his car. We're okay now. We're heading south.
Sammy and her neighbor making the journey to safety, sharing a once-in-a-lifetime bond that they never could have anticipated.
So I'm like, hi, I know, like, we just met. Can I hold your hand? Like, I'm scared. And we literally held hands the entire car ride.
Sophia Navarro from Palisades also made it out, emotional over the few mementos she was able to save in her evacuation home.
This photo of me and my grandmother, but the frame broke while I was running, trying to get out. I had 5 minutes to maybe grab something, and my brain was obviously not in the right place, and I grabbed like a couple of things, a couple more of the sentimental items.
As neighbors started to share videos of their community, Navarro's worst fears starting to look more and more like a reality.
We got a video of our street, and every single house was burned down, but you couldn't make it up to my house. You couldn't see through the smoke. So we still had no clarity, and it was just really difficult.
Then these haunting photos confirming her family had lost everything, separated and without a lifetime's worth of treasures.
My mom, she's just in a hotel, and we're trying to find a place to rent so that we can all be together. I know that we still lost everything, but for anyone who believes in God or whatever they believe in, like any prayers just help so much. And like that means the world to us.
Sam Brock, NBC News.
Yeah, that picture of her grandmother is going to mean the world to her. Sam Brock, thank you so much for that. And the devastation we are seeing out here is not like anything we've ever seen before, in large part because of the climate crisis that we're seeing. NBC News meteorologist Chase Kane gives us an in-depth understanding of what's happening with these winds.
Lots of things have to come together to cause massive, devastating wildfires like these. So it's not that climate change causes a fire, but it does allow them to burn much more intensely and spread much more quickly. And that's a painful reality for folks here in Southern California.
I mean, I have family who asked me, like, so who started the fires? I was like, what are you talking about? This is the climate change as we see it. Like, when we came yesterday, it looked like an inferno in here.
So let's focus on two factors with clear connections to climate change. One, when we burn fossil fuels, it puts greenhouse gases in the atmosphere, making it hotter. And physics tells us that the hotter we make the atmosphere, the more moisture it holds. But it also makes the atmosphere thirstier, quite literally sucking moisture out of plants, grass, brush, anything. That's creating more fuel for these wildfires. And two, climate change is creating more extreme swings between wet and dry. The last 2 winters in SoCal were the 2 wettest back-to-back on record. That led to flooding and the growth of grass and brush. Then last summer was California's hottest ever recorded. And to make matters worse, since September, Southern California has had its driest start to the winter on record.
The real connection is the overlap between what I call sufficiently dry vegetation season and strong Santa Ana wind season. Had we seen significant or widespread precipitation in the weeks and months leading up to this event, we would not be seeing the extent of devastation we are currently seeing. This is the same story, by the way, of what happened in Paradise with the Camp Fire. That's where the climate change connection is.
So Santa Ana winds are a natural event, but you mix them with climate change, and this is what can happen. It's also important to note that of the 20 most destructive wildfires in California history, 15 of them have happened in the last 10 years. And we can already add the Palisades fire to that list. That is where climate change is taking us. In Los Angeles, I'm meteorologist Chase Kane.
Chase Kane, thank you. And just wanted to show you what's going on the side of your screen there. That's Encino, California. Apparently, that is the Palisades fire that has now worked its way all the way across the mountains and is now threatening Encino, Tarzana, that whole area of the West Hills. So it is the same fire that they are now issuing evacuation warnings for, possibly evacuation orders. There's also something weird that's happening right now. We're not exactly sure what it is because it's still developing, but there is a press conference going on that is supposed to be updating people on the very latest from the fire. We were supposed to hear from the Mayor Karen Bass. We were also supposed to hear from the fire chief. You don't see the mayor. You don't see the fire chief there. KMBC, our sister station, they apparently had some video of them trying to get answers from them down the hall. Now we're being told that they are going to send out some sort of written statement a little bit later today, but no new tangible information other than law enforcement right now basically saying that they are going to be keeping these roadblocks up, that they are going to make sure that looters don't come in. But when it comes to answers from the mayor and from the fire chief tonight, we're waiting for a written statement. That's going to do it for us tonight. I'm Gadi Schwartz. More coverage of these devastating wildfires continues right here on NBC News Now, and a special episode of Dateline Dateline that's airing tonight at 10 Eastern on NBC. Fire and ash, devastation in L.A.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories on the NBC News app or follow us on social media.